and welcome to cheekyricho cooking's salted caramel apple pies made in the little Sunbeam Pie Magic for Piemaker. It's really simple. It comes as a result of a request from some of our viewers and we can't wait to share it with you. It's salty, gooey, sticky, sweet, crispy on the outside. Eat it warm, eat it cold. I don't care how you eat it, but make sure you make this. It's incredible. The ingredients are in the recipe box below. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is make our pastry and then we're going to let it rest for a little while. So we're using half of our brown sugar into our flour. So the other half of it will be going into our apples. Half of our cinnamon also goes in there and all of our butter. And we're just going to mix this till well combined. Add a little water to it to mix it all together. We're using Dulce De Leche, the caramel thick sauce stuff that you can either buy in a jar, or I've showed you how to make it by boiling a tin of condensed milk for a couple of hours, but it's actually cheaper in the long run to buy it in a jar. And we're just going to mix this until it's well combined and then let it rest in the fridge so the pastry can relax while we prepare our apples. Just with clean hands, break up the butter, mix everything together. You could use a little pastry thing if you wanted to. This is quite a short mix and it gives it it follows a caramel flavour right through into the pastry. Really quite delicious. So just mix this up until it sort of looks a bit like wet sand. You can do it in a food processor if you like, but it doesn't take very long to do it by your fingers. Now I showed you that it looks really, you could build a sandcastle with this. That's what it looks like. The brown sugar has lent a really quite golden hue to this pastry. We're just going to add some icy cold water to that, just enough. You could use an egg yolk if you wanted to, or some milk or cream or something, but there's plenty of butter in there. So we just need to get this to form into a ball, and then we're going to wrap it up in our silicone mat and let it relax for a little while. Don't work this too much, and we want quite a soft dough. Once it's coming together a little bit, we're going to turn it out onto our board and just push it all together. We'll just turn it out at the stage and you'll see what we're working with. It'll all come together. Okay, just get up any little dry bits. It's not sticking to me or the mat very much, and that's what we're after. So just wrap it up, pop it in the fridge for a little while. But I haven't hardly worked that. That's as much as I've worked it, so only a couple of minutes. So we're just gonna pop that in the fridge to rest. Okay, I've got 3 apples here. One is a pink lady, and they really hold their shape well in cooking. They've got a little bit of tartness to them as well. This is a Granny Smith, and they are really quite tart, but we don't forget we're putting some brown sugar in with it with some cinnamon, and also a dollop of our caramel filling as well. So if we're not cooking these at all, we're just gonna cut these into little pieces. Remove the core and just cut those into little pieces, little chunks, like so. Put them in a bowl and continue with the rest. Now, if you're going to make this ahead of time, you're going to have to sprinkle some lemon juice on them to arrest the oxidization, which is the reaction of oxygen on the cut apple surface, and it will turn it brown. But we're going to be sprinkling brown sugar on top of it and cinnamon, so you're not going to see brown anyway. The sugar will draw out the moisture. And we're also going to put some potato flour in there, or potato starch. And the reason that we do that is, as these juices are being released, they are going to get quite runny and make our pie soggy. So if we put some potato flour in there just raw, when the pies are cooking in the little pie oven, the sauce will actually thicken with the aid of the potato flour. Ingenious, huh? I cut these as big or as small as you like. You could use pie apples if you like, but I happen to have these on hand, so I thought I'd use those. Okay, there's the rest of our apples. Just get them in there too. Sprinkle the balance of our cinnamon and our brown sugar on top, and our brown sugar and our potato starch, and mix that all around. Now, you can't eat this yet because it's quite chalky. The potato starch is raw, so we need to mix all of our ingredients together so that any juice that does come out that's been withdrawn by the osmotic action of the sugar on the apples is then thickened by the starch in the potato starch, which is gluten-free. So the cinnamon and the brown sugar just smell particularly amazing in this. It's looking quite dry, and the reason that is because the potato starch has already started to absorb some of the moisture that's being withdrawn. But you will find in a very short period of time there will be juice laying in the bottom of that bowl that has come out of the apples. You can just see them starting to get a little bit wet now as the sugar is drawing it out. Okay, about 20 minutes later, your apples should look like this. They're really quite wet looking and they haven't browned at all. The colour that you see on them is the cinnamon and the brown sugar, so don't panic about that. Our pastry is not going to behave because it is so short. So what we're going to do is divide it into half with our little pastry divider opera. Just put that to one side, and the remaining piece we're going to put a bit of baking paper, parchment paper on, and then roll that. Now, the reason being is otherwise you'll be using far too much flour to get it to release from the rolling pin, and it's going to crack and be really difficult because it is so short. So you could have even probably cut it into quarters to make it a bit easier to work with. And then we've got these sized rings that come with our pie maker. This is top, bottom. Okay, so we just roll our pastry out and then cut it with those size cutters. And then you're going to have to lift it off with that little pastry cutter. Baking helper it's called. You're going to get 1 bottom, 2 bottoms, 3 bottoms, and a top. Now, bring our pie magic over. Give it a light spray with some cooking oil. I'm using canola cooking oil. You can brush butter in there if you like. Make sure you do the top as well. Reason being is you don't want it to stick with a high sugar content of the pastry. You probably want to do that. So lift one of our little bottoms off. See how sticky it is. Where's our pastry helper gone? Here we go. Doesn't matter if it breaks because you can just spackle it back in there and drop it in the center. Spread it out. Now this isn't on, you won't be able to do this if it's on, and just spread it out down to the bottom and do the same with the rest. Just lift it a little bit and then just peel it back gently with your fingers like so. Okay, roll the other piece out now, and it's time to do the same. We need 1 bottom and we need 3 tops. 1, 2, 3. Really quite sticky. We just set our tops on top of that baking paper, and you can easily stretch them into shape on our pies. So just put that to one side. There's enough there to make quite a few pies actually. Okay, bring our pies over here and fill them with our apple mixture. Stack them right up high. Now these aren't going to be able to contain themselves. So now here is our caramel. So we just put a little dollop on top of each one. And when the heat hits it, that's going to melt down inside those apples, about half a teaspoon or so. That's that. Now we have our Himalayan sea salt. Sprinkle a little bit on top, not too much, it's just a hint, don't forget. And we put our little tops on and try and get them to marry up to the edges. You can turn your pie maker on now, and the bottom can be cooking while we're loading the tops. Okay, it's on. Right, now that's going to stick very well to itself. We've sprayed the top so it's not going to stick, and we're going to just cook those until they're nice and golden and brown on the outside. Once they are golden brown on the outside, they'll be cooked in the center and they'll be cooked on the bottom. And that is all you have to do. Press down well, close the lid, and snap it shut. Okay, we've been on for about 7 minutes now. It's making a lot of sissy sort of sounds, and it's starting to smell pretty fine, let me tell you. So let's have a little look, shall we? That. We'll give it another couple of minutes, another 2 minutes or so. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. They're nice and brown on the top and the bottom. Oh. We'll just take them out. Oh, hot. Goodness me, they're hot. Dust them with a little icing sugar. They've been in there about 10 minutes. Okay, we're gonna give these guys a little dust with some icing sugar and let them cool because they'll be like molten inside, to a serving plate. And there you have it. We're gonna serve one with a little bit of cream and break it open and show you what it looks like inside. Cheekyricho Cooking's salted caramel apple pies. A special request for Dawn. Hope you enjoyed these, Dawn. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your request. I hope you enjoyed this little cooking demonstration of Cheekyricho Cooking's salted caramel apple pies. If you would like to see more interesting recipes and ideas, just check out our Cheekyricho channel, and don't forget to please subscribe, and do come back and visit us again soon. We've got lots more recipes to share with you, and we're uploading lots of videos. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Cut this open, and see what we look like inside. Nice and crispy. That. Beautiful big chunks of apple in there. Our salted caramel on top. A little cream in there. Delicious. Crispy pastry. Gorgeous sweet filling. The caramel's on the top. Just delightful. Apple still firm to the bite. Beautiful. Not all juicy and running out of your hand and hardly any apples. That is packed to the brim. Yummo.